Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. And when Keith Pekau ran for mayor in Orland Park 4 years ago, I supported him through a super PAC I was running at the time. And I'm glad I did. He was running against a guy who had been there since Illinois' founding, Dan McLaughlin, who, because he hadn't had political competition in so long, thought, you know what, as I'm thinking about my retirement, I'd like to enhance it. So let's kick up my salary 300% so I can increase my pension, guaranteed pension, by another $1 million or so, $2 million probably, actually.
And those kind of actions, does he think he really cares about the people of Orland Park? No.
So Pekau sprung the upset 4 years ago, and now he's up for re-election. And guess who's back? Dan McLaughlin. He is, just to show you how incorrigible the political class is in Illinois, you would think that he would be properly shamed by what he had done, which provided the basis for his defenestration from local office in Orland Park. But no. You would think that maybe having Michael Madigan as one of your largest contributors, the timing of this wouldn't be great to run for a re-election or to run for election this time in a community that, is basically 60-40 center-right. But no, not here. Nope. Not here when there is all sorts of scams that you can pull, all sorts of Vichy Republicans that act as enemies inside the perimeter of the other side that you can enlist to do your bidding, Benedict Arnold style. Well, I think it's going to work out for Dan McLaughlin about as well as it did for the British. But for more on this, we're pleased to be joined by Keith Pekau. Oh, by the way, on the way in here, I just to give you, we've talked about him over the months during COVID because he was one of the first mayors to speak out against the lockdown or policies of Pritzker, and he also was one of the only mayors that I know of who actually put together thoughtful, data and science-driven videos to communicate with his constituency, the Orland Park residents, about all these topics. So some of what he had to say 6 months ago now.
And he rose to national fame, I think, because of his thoughts, and he put it on YouTube.
For months, we were told it was safe to go to warehouse stores, grocery stores, approved department stores, and hardware stores. However, you could catch COVID if you went to disapproved department stores or bridal boutiques or game stores. Where was the data that supports this? You can go to an essential store with hundreds of other people, but if you go golf with 4 people, you will get COVID. You were allowed to buy plants like annuals at hardware stores and grocery stores because apparently you can't get COVID there. However, you were not allowed to buy plants at a landscape nursery or at a flower shop. Apparently, standalone businesses that sell only plants are havens for COVID.
I mean, remember those crazy draconian lockdowns where you could only have 2 people golfing, you could only have 2 people in a boat? So stupid.
Here's the thing about Pekau. He was pointing out the arbitrariness of this, the ascientific bases for some of these policies when it was not popular to do so, like we were on this show. He's not rallying to open up Illinois now that everybody finds it safe to rally to open up Illinois, like some of these newly minted school board candidates and some of these parents that are all of a sudden realize their kids haven't been to school in a year, ahead of the learning curve. That's what you're supposed to be as a leader. All right, now we're pleased to be joined by Keith Pekau, mayor of Orland Park and candidate for re-election come April 6th. Keith, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Dan and Amy. Thanks for having me.
So how has, now that you're back on the trail over the last few months, how have residents responded to the work that you did, the positions you took, the way you communicated about COVID and the lockdown policies where Orland and you decided to take a light touch and to, as we heard from you, push back against the capriciousness of Pritzker policies?
I think, I've been knocking on doors and on the campaign trail. I think that's been very well received by those that I've been talking to. But there's certainly a contingent of residents that were frightened, are still frightened, and I'm sure they have a different opinion.
Wow. But, I mean, you were so bold. You had a summer concert series, didn't you?
We did, and I will hear that we didn't follow the science. I would counter that with saying, absolutely, we followed the science. Anyone who went to one of those concerts, we had 8-foot squares, 8 feet apart. I don't think that was normal. our entire process that's through COVID was to say, how can we do things safely, not just shut everything down. The easy thing for people to do is shut everything down and be a lemming like everybody else was. The hard thing to do was to follow the actual science and find ways to do them safely and make people feel comfortable to enjoy them.
What about businesses where you interacted? I know we've had you on the show during this because of your videos. You talking to businesses about the approach that you're inclined to take and what they're feeling in terms of their desire to stay open, stay partially open, or close down. Just describe that interplay between you and your local business community and how they've responded.
Well, I think the business community is almost universally supportive of myself and my reelection because of the stance that I took. There are many, many small businesses, particularly restaurants, through the second round of closures where we did not enforce the closure and they were allowed to stay open, that are still open and still actual businesses that have told me they would not be had we not taken the stance that we did.
Mm-hmm. And so, I mean, thinking about this, this guy, McLaughlin, gets drummed out of office. I mean, elections are referendums on incumbents, and so you were a attractive alternative, but ultimately the electorate made a decision about Dan McLaughlin, and it was largely based on his avarice with respect to their money, the salary and pension play that we referenced at the top. So, I mean, what's the argument 4 years later? That scam I tried to pull on you, well, that's just water under the bridge.
Well, he opened with, his opening line was, "I'm not a politician," which I find interesting because he started in 1983. I was on the golf team at Carl Sandburg High School. So that was his opening line. And clearly he has been planning this since the day he lost, because he hired his deputy committeeman to be the village manager to obstruct me. I was locked out of buildings. My emails were blocked. His 6 trustees continued to obstruct me for the first 2 years until we were able to get 3 new trustees in. And now things have moved much better in the last couple of years. And during the entire transition process as mayor, he spent 5 minutes with me. So there's somebody who really cared about Orland Park. So this run for mayor has been planned since the day he lost.
Wow. So when they locked you out of buildings, how did you conduct business? What did you do?
Well, I simply continued to push and push back and find different ways to get my emails out to staff, to meet with staff. And it was difficult. It was a very, very hard 2 years. And I had to maneuver. I had to use the bully pulpit of the press and get to the people and get my message to the people directly. And that had an impact.
But so McLaughlin had the plan since the day he lost. Okay, fine. But I mean, what's the message? I mean, what's the value prop for Dan McLaughlin given what he did? I mean, it doesn't sound like there's any contrition with respect to what he did that was the proximate cause of his loss once it was well understood by the residents. And so why would the residents change their mind about the decision they made 4 years ago?
I don't know. He's tried to reinvent himself as me. If you looked at his campaign information, he's running on fiscal responsibility. Here's the guy who ran up debt $99 million in his last 18 years, which is a $5.5 million deficit a year. We've brought that down $37 million, even with COVID, so a $9 million surplus. And while doing so, have doubled our investment in our roads and our parks because we've done things a lot more smartly and quit buying businesses and tried to play developer. He's trying to run on transparency. Yet I'm the one that brought putting all of our board meetings on video, on audio, so people could actually see them. He's trying to attack our police and public safety and saying that we need to be safer, except our crime is the lowest it's been in 26 years. We're number one in violent crime for cities over 50,000 for the last 3 years. And we were just named the safest city in Illinois. And he supported J.B. Pritzker and HB 3653.
Against
How can
police.
you say you support police? And he supports Kim Fox. So I don't know how you're going to make us safer.
Crew.
Well, I mean, the reality is he's coming back because he wants the golden parachute that he thought he was going to have that you stripped from him.
Well, he's already taking his $1 million pension. So his new line is, I'm not going to take the salary. That's because he can't. Because he can't
Because
take the
he's taking a
salary.
pension.
Right,
and
because
the
his pension's
pension.
better.
What he wants, the pension is better, and what he wants is the patronage jobs that have disappeared largely because we did an early retirement and we lost a lot of good people. But in that, anyone who was a patronage hire said, "I want to get out of here right now." And so we were able to clean that out. So he wants to bring those things back. We brought our full-time employees down 10%. He wants to boost that back up again because that's what the machine does.
Oh, is anybody in Orland Park buying his line of bull jive?
Things look close. So there's people that buy it. I mean, how does Kim Foxx get reelected?
I know.
This is Cook County. This is Chicago. Even in Orland Park, how did he stay in office for 24 years? I don't know.
But what are you hearing from the residents for, because of what you did? I mean, what you did was just amazing, and people on a national level recognized that you opened up your city because you
I think
safely
it's been very
could.
well received by the residents. I really do. And when I talk to residents, that's what they relay to me. But of course, I'm talking to residents who are outside, who are enjoying our restaurants. I'm not talking to those that are still afraid to go out. So I may be talking to people who are just like-minded. I don't know the answer to that.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, your case is getting, like DeSantis, your case is getting stronger with each passing day. I wonder, somebody who came from the outside, businessman, your first run for office was running for mayor of Orland Park 4 years ago. So I think you can provide perhaps some insight to those newly interested individuals in local offices who have been motivated by school shutdowns and other lockdown policy to run for school board or run for municipal office. What did you think getting in, and what do you think now about sort of the process and the purpose, the importance, just sort of give us a perspective as somebody who came in and now has done this for 4 years and is running for reelect against sort of these Rasputin-like characters in the Illinois political class that just won't go away?
Well, I think there's two things. One is if you're a newly elected official and you're changing things, expect they're going to come after you because they're not going to go down easy. You're taking away what's been their livelihood and their golden parachute for decades. So, if not a century. The second thing is that I've noticed within government, at least within Orland Park, is there's a mentality within government that they know best and that they can do everything. For example, when I first took office, my first meeting, our board was about to buy a golf course and this deal was orchestrated with Dan McLaughlin. We were about to become the owners of a golf course, a wedding venue, a bar, and a restaurant.
Really?
So where does government know how to run that better than the private sector? And it's all because they want to play developer with your money. So I think any elected official needs to go in there with the idea that we need to solve problems, and we need to solve them in different ways, and we need to solve them fiscally responsibly. Because if you do that, you'll find good ways to do things. We've lowered our operating budget by 14%. Someone told me the other day, but I haven't noticed a cut in services. Exactly. That's because we found new ways to do things that are much more efficient. Use technology where we can. That doesn't mean we won't add people if we need to, but that doesn't need to be your first answer, is to flood it with 10 more patronage hires.
He is Keith Pekau. He's running for re-election as mayor of Orland Park. If you live in Orland Park, you should support and get involved with Keith Pekau's campaign. I mean, if you don't, you're either on the dole or want to be on the dole and want to perpetrate the kleptocracy in this state, including in your community, or you're just not paying any attention, because this is about as stark a choice as you're going to get in Illinois. Keith Pekau, that's P-E-K-A-U, KeithPekau.com is the website. Keith, thanks for joining us, and good luck on April 6th.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
The Lou Dobbs Financial Report is brought to you by Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Visit signaturebank.bank for your commercial banking needs.
I'm Lou Dobbs. Royal Caribbean Cruises hitting the high seas again. Meet Packer JBS fined $3.6 million. And bets on March Madness exceed gambling over the Super Bowl. Those stories next.
My name is Namrata Singh Gujral. I am a filmmaker. and an immigrant. My film, America's Forgotten, uncovers the unintended consequences of a broken immigration system.
The 7-year-old girl died in the desert.
This child came from the country of India.
I'm living in the chat. I can go to the police.
I never expected this journey would lead me to a truth that I never intended to find.
A great pillar of the community was killed by a man who had been deported at least twice.
The public would be outraged if they knew the truth.
I found how much Americans are being lied to regarding our immigration policies at the border. My friends, my industry, even my family, all rallied against the final message of this film. All credits had to be hidden for fear of retribution. If you care about the future of America, you should watch America's Forgotten.
Go to salemnow.com to buy or rent today. For additional savings and a promo code FAMILY. Salemnow.com, promo code FAMILY.
This June, 2 Royal Caribbean cruises will resume as a year-long hiatus ends. Passengers will need to be at least 18 years of age and test negative for the China virus before being allowed to board a ship. The company's co-owned Celebrity Cruises will also head back to sea on June 5th. A court in Brazil has ordered meatpacking company JBS to pay $3.6 million in damages after an outbreak of the China virus at a beef processing plant in northern Brazil. The plant is the largest employer in the area, and Brazil's judicial system chose to hold JBS liable for not maintaining proper health protocols. Casinos and bookmakers report that so far, wagering on March Madness games is outpacing gambling over this year's Super Bowl. Please join me 3 times each weekday for my updates from the Salem Radio Network right here on this station. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
Building owners, are you experiencing problems with your flat roof? Do you know where you're at in the life cycle of your roof? Install, repair, renew, or replace? One of the largest investments you will make to protect your building and its contents is the roof system on your building. So trust that investment to a proven industry leader. Trust it to Waukegan Roofing. Waukegan Roofing is a commercial and industrial low-slope roofing contractor installing roofs you can rely on since 1914. We install, service, and maintain all types of commercial and industrial low-slope roof systems for the Chicago area. We've installed millions of square feet of quality roofing systems, protecting buildings and their valuable contents for more than 100 years. So wherever you are in the life cycle of your roof, Waukegan Roofing is prepared to help you manage each stage with professional service and technical expertise. Call us today to schedule an appointment at 877-ROOF-201. That's 877-ROOF-201. Or visit us online at waukeganroofing.com. Waukegan Roofing, installing roofs you can rely on since 1914.
Illinois licensee 104000761.
Balance of Nature's fruits and vegetables in a capsule, changing the world one life at a time.
I bust my butt 16, 18 hours a day, 7 days a week, and I needed to do something. Wasn't sure what. Did a lot of research, and most health products pass through our digestive system with very little, if any, benefit. But I have your 2 bottles of Balance of Nature, the fruits and the veggies, and it's time that people discover this product because it is real, and I see noticeable results. I'm taking Balance of Nature, and I'm getting healthy. I'm reaching a new balance in health. So let's get the word out. Let's get you guys out there and running.
Right now, Balance of Nature is offering free shipping and 35% off on any new preferred order. Call 1-800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code Chicago.
Hi, my name is Lily. My mom and dad used to fight about money all the time. Then one day, I heard them talking about this guy, some uncle I never knew called Uncle Sam. Well, they say this Uncle Sam guy wanted them to pay him like $1 gazillion, and they didn't have $1 gazillion. So they called this company they heard on the radio called the Tax Doctor. And the Tax Doctor worked with Uncle Sam's people. I think they're called the IRS. And they're able to work it out so my mom and dad didn't have to pay Uncle Sam very much money at all. So now mom and dad are happy, and I'm happy too. Thanks, Tax Doctor.
If you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS or state, call now and pay less. 800-391-8713. 800-391-8713. That's 800-391-8713.
This is Jerry Boyer of Town Hall Finance.